This short screencast introduces the resource Harvard Writes and discusses how it was used in my Writing 102 online courses uh, for the spring 2016 semester in the Department of Writing and Rhetoric. Harvard Writes is a free digital resource for composition students that combines HTML, video, and other interactive activities to help engage students in learning different writing techniques. The Harvard Writes website allows students to interact with HTML text by giving them a smart highlighting tool so that they can highlight relevant text from a variety of sample essays, and saves the highlighted material to a private notes page, making it easy for students to organize and identify key issues and themes within an assigned essay. Further interactive guides help prompt students onto the next step when they are reading and annotating an essay. Finally, short video lectures from a variety of Harvard faculty help guide students in each assignment. There are several benefits in using this resource to augment or replace traditional readings found in a textbook. Using a digital resource like Harvard Writes in lieu of a traditional textbook in a face-to-face or online setting will not add to student costs. There's also the possibility of using a free digital resource that can increase student engagement in my writing courses and beyond by making reading more interactive with students, along with the potential to lower student costs by eliminating a traditional textbook. Ultimately, this combination of greater engagement and cost savings could lead to better retention rates in my first-year writing courses and in any other course where a traditional textbook could be replaced by a digital resource like this. The resource was assessed in three following ways that engaged both student and faculty commentary. There were 2 student surveys that were conducted anonymously. There was a meeting with curriculum committee through faculty, and finally there's a presentation to faculty members to invite feedback on the actual resource itself. Before I go into the results, I'll briefly demonstrate the Harvard Writes website and also some of the interesting features that accompany it with this a digital highlighting tool. This is the Harvard Writes website, and the assignment that I'm looking at today is writing an argument, trying to find a thesis in a scholarly context. Very briefly, you can see the overview of how the website is set up for this particular assignment. On the left, you have a big picture overview. On the right, you have integrated video. If you scroll down, you have the actual exercise step by step here too that talks about what students should expect from it and gives them fairly clear criteria of how they will be then assessed by it through the process of reflection. If you scroll down below, you have 6 sample essays that students are free to choose. You also have an integrated digital highlighting tool that I'll talk about here in a second. And then you have a Make It Matter section of 9 different subtopics that if a student scrolls over, expands and gives them a definition. I like this because it doesn't make them click on it to actually read the material. They can stay all on one page, which I think is actually very important in terms of student focus. Okay, well, the digital highlighting tool that they included with the Harvard Writes website is something called Marker 2. And that's a perfectly acceptable highlighter. However, during the course of this, in integrating into my Writing 102 class, my students and I came across another highlighting tool that was equally effective, even a little bit better. The tool is called Scribble, and I've already gone ahead and downloaded it to my browser. You can go ahead and install it in any one of your toolbar browsers for any basic web browsing window. Opening up Scribble is fairly straightforward. You click on it, you open it up, you are given a digital toolbar down here at the bottom. You can then highlight text. You can color code that text and delete it or attach a note. You can underline, you can italicize, you can mark up the text any way you'd like. It's very interactive. You can also turn off the comments and annotations, turn them back on. And of course, more importantly, you can share and save copies of this. So if you'd like them to turn it into Blackboard, they have that ability to do so. Okay, well that is the basic overview of the Harvard Writes website and this digital highlighting tool called Scribble. We'll now go ahead and show you how this was assessed and give you some student feedback and faculty feedback about both the resource and the digital highlighting tool. We'll start with student results. The students really like the ability to highlight web text both on the Harvard Writes website and beyond just the Harvard Writes website onto other websites that they found online. I'll show you a student example of that in a moment here with example poem that a student found on the Poetry Foundation that she annotated and highlighted as well. The students liked the assignments, that they were low-stake assignments that involved them reflecting and actually interacting with the resource that way. There are no quizzes, there were nothing like that, that students seem to enjoy and engage in too. One area that the students disliked were the videos. Many of the students found that the faculty members who were talking were a little bit more into research, less into teaching in terms of what they were trying to write, make that applicable to their Writing 101, Writing 102 experience. This is a student example of a student who used Scribble to annotate and highlight a poem she found on the Poetry Foundation. You can see the different annotations there along the side, the little notes that she's done, and her highlighting there too. The results from the faculty were positive for the most part. They really enjoyed the highlighting tools, both Scribble and Marco 2. They liked that the assignment ended with reflection and it actually talked about being academically rigorous because we are trying to develop a culture of reflection in Writing 100 and 102. And in fact, their final essay, which is basically at 20 or 25% of the overall course grade, is a unit reflection. So building small reflective assignments throughout the semester can help. Faculty did not like, and I did not like, the fact that you cannot use the tools within the library databases. Part of that is behind the paywall. Part of that is also just the simple fact that most of the material behind the library databases is hosted on PDFs that are scanned in. Some databases like CQ Researcher that are HTML based might find some use with the tool, but again, that's going to depend on if the highlighting tool works behind the paywall. So looking ahead, there's good integration of the resource with Blackboard. Students can finish annotating an assignment on any web page that is open to them and submit that to the Blackboard. I use the journal feature, and they just simply do the reflection there and submit a link to their highlighted work. Really looking forward to using the highlighting tools in other face-to-face classes within the Department of Writing and Rhetoric. We are moving forward with an OER low-cost alternative to textbooks using the digital version of the New York Times and a digital resource called Excelsior Owl. And I foresee that being a very helpful and useful space for a digital highlighting tool to come and to practice with, especially since those students are moving from a traditional textbook into something that's a little bit more advanced and digital for them. And this would be useful for any instructor outside of my department too that uses research or writing for digital spaces. It can be a little bit of a challenge to actually get to students to sort of download it and think about it. You will have to give them some clear guidance and some criteria about how to use it. But if you'd like to improve student writing and give them the option of selecting material that they'd like to look at for other essays to model off of, the Harvard Writes website is very strong. And more importantly, the digital highlighting tool gives them the freedom to annotate, basically the web, so long as it's not behind very specific paywalls as were discussed here.